Brantford, I want to introduce you to my friend Pastor Brent Bielenberg. Brent, what's the name of your church there outside of Minneapolis?
Northfield, Minnesota. So that's about 45 minutes south of Minneapolis. But in Minnesota, 45 minutes is a hop, skip, and a jump. So
when things began to blow up in Minnesota on that day and the subsequent days after the murder of George Floyd, you and I started to go back and forth, and there were talks of how far and wide things were going to go, and what was your first reaction when you saw this thing happen right in your vicinity in Minnesota?
Yeah, are you talking about the riots or the killing?
Let's start with the George Floyd incident, and then let's go to the riots.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, like everybody on that Tuesday, somebody shared it with me, and I saw it, and I just started watching it, and it was about partway through, I realized, like, this guy's gonna die. And it was I just was in shock of what I was watching, and I think I didn't even know how to respond. There's so much emotion that goes into it, and just to watch that, and then just to be thinking, like, that's happening here. But what I didn't realize coming up to the area, there's homes all around here. It's not a downtown city area. We're in downtown. And then I think when that Friday that we started to see things burn, that's when for me I was like, oh my goodness, like, what is going on and what's happening here? And on Friday, I was just in Northfield, and it just felt like I got to get up there. Almost like I shared today, like when Nehemiah heard he was on, and he had to put himself into Jerusalem and see all that was going on to really feel the hurt, the pain, and the frustration, the anger. So that's just what I've done, is I've just put myself in a position. I'm not doing anything. I'm not leading anything. I'm just coming in and put myself in a position to feel what's going on and pray into what's going on.
Brent, soon after this happened, you and I were going back and forth, and you started to tell me about how the church was responding, even after the things that we were all watching on CNN. And the church was going in, like the church in Minneapolis and beyond was coming in and cleaning up and serving and these kind of things, even in the early days of this, right? Tell me a little, just a bit about that.
Well, the church has been a leader in all of this, and it goes unnoticed in a lot of ways, but from the African American pastor, the leaders of sharing us their heart of what they're really going through, what they're really feeling, so that we can even catch a glimpse of it. Like, it's just trying to empathize and understand. But it's also like, while they were going through all that hardship, all that struggle, there was this rally cry to the Minneapolis and St. Paul churches, and you just saw the churches mobilize instantly. And nobody really gets that. I mean, I think a lot of times we say the church is just dormant, but just seeing things, they were instantly going out and serving needs and cleaning up, and that's still going on, and it'll be going on for a long time. So, it just shows the importance of the church, the building on Sundays that we're fighting to try to meet back in again, which is good. It's an awesome thing. But it's the ecclesia outside of the buildings doing the work of God, and that's in full force right now. I mean, there's people who have been praying for this opportunity. Horrible way that it started off, but all of a sudden the door is open to serve, and people are so open up here. If you just listen to their story, listen to what's going on, and all you have to do is, can I pray for that? And they're so open for prayer and to receive things from the Lord.
So, excuse me. So tell me a little bit about what we're seeing. In Brantford, where I'm at, a couple days ago, there was a story in our Brantford Expositor about a young man who is, well, I guess young man, he's only a few years younger than me, named Christoph Ulysses, who was born and raised in Brantford. He's been a part of called YWAM, Youth with a Mission, for years and years. And when this all happened in downtown Minneapolis, he brought a team to downtown Minneapolis, and he's been a part of many different people who have been in this area. And where Brent is standing is where George Floyd was murdered not that long ago. And Christoph was down there preaching, and there was baptisms not dissimilar to our baptisms in Harmony Square. No problem. For a lot of years. Brent, tell us a little bit about what we're seeing down there right now and what's been happening over the last couple of days and what's going to happen into the future, even tonight.
Yeah. So, I mean, I caught wind of it like at the memorial site. There just all of a sudden people started gathering just organically, and believers, unbelievers, people just mourning. I mean, that was the biggest thing. It just became a place of mourning and grieving. And then the church started to come. And last Friday when I came, there was just such really just a heaviness that was around the area. And I caught wind the first time. I think they're called the Circuit Riders. And they came into town, and that's a part of, I think, what Chris is a part of, I think. But they came in, and I tell you, they broke some spiritual climate stuff. And every night there is revival stuff going on. They're seeing baptisms. They're seeing deliverances. One testimony of the Circuit Riders is right across the street where George was murdered. They saw like this guy. He fell over. He was overdosing. His eyes went back, and he was overdosing. Stopped. One of the guys went over, cleared it, and just prayed for him. His eyes popped open. He sat up, and the ambulance came, took him away. He's alive. He's doing well. But
Wow.
You just start seeing moves like that happen and seeing people. Yesterday I was up here. I mean, it's like everything is. Nothing's ever as big as all as people make it out to be. It's just the God moving. They did a altar call for anxiety. This guy, just a Native American, just came through, and the Spirit came on him in such power. And it's just like they just hugging, and then he walked away. And it's just like something simple like that. Powerful, for me. Good. I'm right by the porta potty, so it looks like I'm in line here, but I'm not. Yesterday they had us, and it's a revival and unity, because obviously race is such a big issue in this, and reconciliation of that. And they had us just go toe to toe with somebody that doesn't look like. With a guy, his name is Kurt, and his mom was right across the street watching the murder of George, and I just sensed this sorrow in him. And he's Rastafarian. He had his little niece there, and he just said, I said, can I pray for that sorrow? And he's like, yeah. So I prayed for him, and he just turned to me and he just said, I just feel it leaving. I just feel the sorrow leaving me right now.
Wow.
Hopefully tonight I'll be able to see his mom, because I really wanted to pray. But there's a church right kitty corner to where George was murdered. A Bible-believing church. The pastor is Pastor Curtis. Been here for a long time. And it's just like the ministry they're going to be able to do, that's who needs prayer even more than what we're doing with these revivals. These revivals are like big crusades coming in. And they do a great work, but it's the ones after that need to go on and need the prayer and the support. And so that's what we're aligning ourselves with. You're good. You can ask if I've been lying, but that's what we need, that keep encouraging. I mean, I think as the church, we just went through this in Hebrews. It talks about or Revelation, the patient endurance of faith. Like, we're in this for the long haul. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And revival is it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the needs of the people are going to be there, and they're probably going to increase after this too.
Brent, 1 year ago today, the Toronto Raptors won their first championship. So today in Canada, we're all extraordinarily excited. Yeah, I know. And
we were so close with the Timberwolves. We were like knocking on the door.
So close.
Yeah,
So close.
on the basement door.
For a lot of years, Brent, you were the chaplain for the Minnesota Wild, and you and I have connected through the Transform Our World network that believes that the church is absolutely called to be able to go and incept the ideas of the kingdom of God in areas like sports, in areas like even on the street, very difficult questions, race relations, to high-level business tables. As you've been thinking about the role of the church / the ecclesia, as you've been down there in the sort of the epicenter of where the biggest tension in at least North America is right now, what do you see, and what are the things that you've been spurred about the role of the church ecclesia in North America? Like, what are the things that are stirring in you?
We just need to get out. There's real people with real needs, real hurts, and we need people that really hear God and feel His heart for them. We came with a group on Wednesday. We brought a group of 8 of us up, and we just were going to a sub shop to just grab a sub. We were hungry. Sometimes we just do normal things, and all of a sudden the owner of it, Mohammed, we just said, "Hey, Mohammed, can we pray for your store?" Just as Ed talks about, just pray a blessing over his store. And he's like, "Yeah, that would be great." And then I noticed there was a guy, not to stereotype, but he was white, hat on backwards, all tatted up. And I looked at him, I'm like, "Hey, dude, you can go ahead and buy this and we'll wait." And he goes, No, I'll stay here for the prayer. And I was like, "Oh, that's nice." Well, the person with me, she goes, "Okay, why don't you pray?" And I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, all of a sudden this guy just says, "Okay, Father, I thank you so much for all that's going on." And I'm like, I did not expect that. We ministered to about 5 people while we were buying subs. We had a gal that came up on the street corner with her son on a bike. For probably about 15-minute drive from where they were. She was just despondent, and she's just like, "Can anybody give me a ride?" Our crew brought her home, drove her home. The church just needs, and when we're talking about COVID and everybody's in the same boat, what do we have to do right now? Like, we don't have anywhere I have to be right now. And when the church can get into that place, now I'm not rushing to the next thing, and I can actually see the needs and meet the needs when they come before us. And it's so much fun, but I think we just have to get out. We have to get out, and the key thing is here, we have to listen. Like, that's what we're learning with this. If we don't listen and we just come with an answer, people want to share their heart. And when they share their heart, that's what we know. You're going to hear their felt needs, and then we can start praying in, and everybody, when you listen, is ready to receive prayer. And that's, I think, what the ecclesia is all about. And we're all mobilized to do this. It was awkward. It's awkward for me as a pastor. I'm not in my comfort zone. I'm in my comfort zone on a but this is where real life that need the gospel all the more, and the church is equipped, the ecclesia is equipped for that.
Brent, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts today. I really appreciate it, buddy.